One of Caitlin Clark's biggest influences isn't who you think, and her GOAT pick might surprise you.
I knew I was going to meet him when I was coming to the game, and that's like one of my idols, like the GOAT to me, so he's my favorite player of all time.
Your dream come true. You've made so many dreams come true. State Farm knew it had been some time since you'd seen, and like a good neighbor, State Farm.
Caitlin Clark just revealed 6 players who shaped her game, including one shocking pick. Here's how they built her style. Here's the part most people miss about Caitlin Clark. She didn't just grow up playing basketball. She studied it like a subject, not casually either. We're talking hours watching film, rewinding plays, and noticing details most players ignore. She watched WNBA legends who built the game from nothing and NBA superstars who completely redefined it. And over time, something interesting happened. She didn't copy any one player. She didn't try to become the next version of someone else. Instead, she started blending everything she saw, like taking pieces from different puzzles and building something new. That's really the foundation of her game. It's not an imitation, it's fusion, and that's why when you watch her, it feels familiar, but also completely different at the same time. And this is where things start to get really interesting.
At the full rebound, Durant. Incredible opportunity. Durant for 3. It's good. Kevin Durant from downtown, and Golden State takes.
When you watch Clark closely, there's a certain mindset that stands out, and it quietly echoes Kevin Durant. Not in a flashy way, but in how she approaches the game. Durant's whole philosophy has always been simple: be unguardable. Doesn't matter where you are on the floor, three-point line, mid-range, driving inside. He can score from anywhere, and more importantly, he reads how defenses react and punishes them for it. Now look at Clark. Defenders sag off. She pulls up from deep without hesitation. Try to press her. She blows past, gets into the lane, and either finishes through contact or finds the open teammate. Switch a smaller defender onto her. She'll take advantage immediately. And what really stands out is how smoothly she switches roles. One moment she's a scorer, next she's setting someone else up. There's no predictability. That's the real KD influence. Not copying moves, but becoming a constant problem defenses can't solve. And here's where it gets even more fun. Long before the logo threes and highlight reels, there was Pete Maravich, a player who didn't just play basketball, he performed it. Every pass felt risky, every move looked impossible, and somehow it all worked. That same energy shows up in Clark's game. You see it in those no-look passes that hit teammates perfectly in stride, the kind where defenders don't even realize what just happened. You see it in transition, when she's pushing the pace and suddenly fires a pass across the court before anyone can react. And then there's the step backs, confident, almost defiant, like she already knows the shot is going in. But the biggest moment? When Clark broke Maravich's NCAA scoring record, it didn't feel like just a stat. It felt like a passing of the torch. The original showman to the modern one. That's the influence. Play bold, trust your instincts, and don't be afraid to make the game look different. But wait, this next one might surprise some people.
He looked like Superman. This is a bird. This is a plane. LeBron James with no regard for human life. Wow, what a pass.
Ask Clark who the greatest of all time is, and she doesn't hesitate: LeBron James. Not just for the points, not just for the highlights, but for something deeper: control. LeBron plays like a quarterback. He sees everything before it happens. He reads defenses, manipulates matchups, and makes the right decision over and over again. And when you watch Clark, you start to notice the same pattern. She can score 30 or 40, sure, but a lot of times she'd rather create for others, drawing defenders in, then firing a pass to someone who didn't even realize they were open yet. That's a different level of vision. Then there's that moment when she finally met him. She admitted it felt unreal, like it might not even be real at first. That's how much respect she has for him. And the fact that LeBron showed support, followed her journey, even wished her luck, that meant something. Because the real lesson here, the most dangerous scorer isn't the one who scores the most. It's the one who decides when to. And this is the one nobody saw coming. Before the fame, before the records, a young Caitlin Clark was completely locked in on Jimmer Fredette. We're talking about a 9-year-old watching BYU games, replaying highlights over and over again like it was homework. Not because he was the biggest name, but because of how he played. Jimmer pulled from distances that didn't make sense. Step backs from way beyond the arc. Shots that felt reckless, but kept going in. And for Clark, that changed something. It gave her confidence. You can actually see it today. That comfort shooting from deep. That belief that no range is too far. That didn't just happen. And then years later, it comes full circle. She meets him during a segment with Sue Bird, and they have a 3-point contest. Ridiculous spots, tough angles, and Clark edges him 3-2. Then casually drops a joke about hanging out with the two people who invented the 3-point shot. Cold, confidence, effortless. That's what Jimmer gave her, not a blueprint, but permission. Permission to take shots others wouldn't even think about. And just when you think you've seen it all, this influence is impossible to ignore.
Curry spins. Step back, trying to draw another foul, and it goes in! Oh, Steph Curry with a circus shot and the foul.
It's one of the most incredible and one.
Stephen Curry didn't just change basketball, he stretched it. Logo threes, lightning quick releases, shots that used to get players benched. He made all of it normal. And when you watch Clark, you can feel that ripple effect immediately. The range? Effortless. She's pulling from distances that force defenders to pick her up the second she crosses half court. The release? Quick enough that even tight coverage doesn't matter. But what really stands out is the movement. She doesn't just stand still waiting. She relocates, repositions, and suddenly she's open again. That's straight from the Curry blueprint. But here's the nuance. Even Curry himself has pushed back on the comparison. Because Clark isn't just a shooter. Her passing, rebounding, and control go way beyond that label. And that's the key idea here. This isn't about flashy highlights. It's about turning range into a system, something that warps the entire defense every single possession. But this next one, hits deeper than all the others.
She wasn't going 100%.
She's so incredibly hard to defend.
It was just unbelievable what she did.
A winner everywhere she's been.
Before the spotlight, before the sold-out arenas, there was one name Caitlin Clark kept coming back to, Maya Moore. Not just a favorite player, her hero. And it makes sense. Maya wasn't just great at one thing, she did everything. Scoring, defending, leading. She controlled games in a way that didn't always need attention, but always delivered results. Championships, Olympic gold medals, dominant runs, her resume speaks for itself. Clark didn't just admire that, she studied it. The way Maya could post up smaller defenders, then step out and shoot over length. The way she could lock in defensively one possession, then lead a fast break the next. It was complete basketball. And then came that moment. Senior night, the crowd was already loud, already emotional. And suddenly, Maya Moore walks out. No warning, no buildup, just there. Clark's reaction said everything. She froze for a second, smiled, and you could see it. She was overwhelmed. That's not just respect, that's full circle. And she's never forgotten the players who built that path either. Names like Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Cynthia Cooper, and Dawn Staley. Players who carried the game when nobody was watching. There's even a moment where Clark jokes she wouldn't score a single point against Prime Maya. Not one. And honestly, the way she said it, you could tell she meant it. That's the influence, not just skill, but standard. And here's the part that really makes you stop and think. Clark grew up watching these legends, studying them, and learning from them. Every move she makes today carries a piece of that history. But now, the roles are flipping. Kids are watching her the same way she once watched them, replaying her highlights, copying her shots, trying to understand how she sees the game. That's how influence works. It builds over time. It stacks, it evolves, it passes forward. And whether people realize it yet or not, Clark isn't just part of that cycle anymore. She's becoming the next chapter of it. Now, if you really want to see these influences in action, watch closely next time she's on the court. Start with the off-ball movement, that constant relocating after a pass. That's pure Curry influence. She never stays still, always searching for space. Then look at her passing reads, the way she draws defenders in and fires the ball at the perfect moment. That's LeBron-level vision. And here's the biggest one, attention. Defenses are forced to pick her up early, sometimes near half court. And the second that happens, everything opens up. Cuts, slips, open shooters. It's all connected. Every influence shows up in real time. You just have to know where to look.
Feeling it, left side, right side. Now come back to your favorite spot again. It doesn't matter if there's a hand in her face contesting. Look at that reaction. She can just do things.
And after all that, here's the truth. She's not the female Curry. She's not the next LeBron. Those comparisons don't really hold up, because what you're watching is something else entirely. A blend of styles, eras, and influences all coming together. Pieces of greatness stitched into one game. That's why she feels different. She didn't follow one path, she built her own. And that's what makes her the first Caitlin Clark. So now it's your turn. Rank these influences and tell me which one shows up most in her game right now. Is it Curry's range or LeBron's vision? Drop your take below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like and subscribe, because there's a lot more coming next.